getting to know the person, saying hi, what's your name, introducing myself, and kind of leading from that. So, yeah, I definitely relate to that.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. Right after you asked that question, I was like, I thought of Mormons.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I feel like they don't have that preconception of being pushy in a way, but people look at them as trying to figure out a way not to say this in an offensive way, as like a joke almost, where it's like it's more so of like a funny thing rather than something that could like bring up some sort of pain or like offense in their heart. To whereas I feel like the response that some non-believers give or put off whenever a Christian comes up and is like trying to share with them about Jesus is like different. And I wonder like why there's that difference in response. And I feel like some of it has to go down to like church hurt or some sort of just not even them having a personal experience with it, but maybe a friend having some sort of experience that then they project onto all Christians and the whole church. And it's funny because I think with like, we haven't talked about this a lot, but at work, I, for the last like 3 years, worked really close with a lot of the leadership at the LDS church. So I'm personal friends with some of them over there, but it's funny, even just with getting to know them and then talking with others about it, it's like what's the word? Like basically the thing that people know about them or that comes to mind whenever people think about them is like, oh, like they're so nice. It's kind of weird how nice they are, but they're nice. And like, yeah, they're committed to what they're doing, but it's kind of weird what they're doing. And so it's funny how people are just like, when they think of Mormons, like the first thing that they associate with them is like, oh, they're nice. Like they ain't talking truth, but they're nice. Whereas whenever it comes to Christians, it's just like, okay, maybe what they're saying is truth. Like, I don't know. I have some moral objections to what they're saying. But even on top of that is just like all the things that are, all the emotions and all of the triggers that come up whenever they think of Christians, like evangelizing, stuff like that is tough. And so I'm just like, dang, I'm sad it feels that way.
Well, I think that most of that, when you say like triggers, a lot of that is just like, okay, our goal is not to get in arguments, we're not trying to use our great, points or homiletics or whatever, to try to convince them. That's really the Holy Spirit's job, because we know like what we carry is mighty to cast down arguments and to surpass understandings and to surpass even those preconceived notions and things, like the power of God literally can in an instant go around every like built wall, everything in the heart. So it's like our goal is to connect with the kind of power that would go around anything in a heart that's already been placed there, by ultimately Satan, using other people, using churches or whatever. So I think, at least for me, a really good conversation, a way to approach it is to not really give context for, like, okay, this is why, or I'm doing it because of this church thing or because of this or because of that. But really the only context be the gospel. Like, no. Like, I am really just alive to God right now. And this is what I feel him saying over you, and like, it's a personal one-on-one thing. And so if we just like completely, kind of surpass every external part of Christ, like other people's opinions, other denominations, other religions, like we're not going to get into that. You need to know and have the Holy Spirit reveal Jesus to you first and foremost. And then like, that's the secondary thing. That's a walking with God. That's a sanctifying conversation. And so like, I think just initially when you're first like approaching that, what removes a lot of that triggers, stress and all of that is just really walking by the Spirit and not by the flesh, and not getting into those contentions, because we know that that's a fruit of the flesh. So if contention is present, when you're just talking to a random stranger, if contention is present, we know that that's the opposite of what we're there to do,